Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Feel Good Friday, live from my spare bedroom, aka Forever Ready's home studio during our wonderful quarantine. This week, you may notice I'm representing Loras College right here. I'm an alma mater. That is my alma mater. I am an alum of Loras College, and I'm wearing this in solidarity with the seniors in the class of 2020 who would be beginning all of their year-end things right now, from projects to finishing out their majors, applying for jobs and internships, all the way to preparing for graduation, and of course sharing all those memories with their classmates. They're all doing that from home right now and doing it virtually, so I'm trying to represent them today. Today we also have several guests who are a part of this show who've submitted or at least allowed me to use some of their work to showcase some good things happening in the world today. And the first guest I have is my friend James Duke, also known as IMAKEMADBEATS. He is the founder of Unapologetic, and he's doing some amazing things around producing and music and hip hop and really empowering people to live their life to the fullest using their gifts. And one of the things we've both been sort of talking about back and forth is how hard it is right now to create art because we're home, because of what's happening in the world. And so I asked him to just give a little reflection on how he's getting through this quarantine time. So I'll toss it to him right now.
How y'all doing? My name is IMAKEMADBEATS. I'm CEO and founder of Unapologetic, a creative company here in Memphis, Tennessee. And I want to give a shout out to Lauren and Forever Ready Productions for having me here on Feel Good Friday. Lauren and I, we've been talking recently about being creative in this time. And recently I've been a bit frustrated regarding being creative in this time because there's a lot of worry, concern, anxiety, and stress in the air. And a good friend of mine passed me something to take in, and I want to read it to you all. It's from a legendary writer named Toni Morrison. It goes something like this. I'm staring out of the window in an extremely dark mood, feeling helpless. Then a friend, a fellow artist, calls to wish me happy holidays. He asks, "How are you?" And instead of, "Oh, fine, and you?" I blurt out the truth. Not well. Not only am I depressed, I can't seem to work, to write. It's as though I am paralyzed, unable to write anything more in the novel I've begun. I've never felt this way before, but the election I'm about to explain with further detail when he interrupts, shouting, "No, no, no, no. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. Not when everything is fine, but in times of dread. That's our job." I felt foolish the rest of the morning, especially when I recalled the artists who had done their work in gulags, prison cells, and hospital beds, who did their work while hounded, exiled, reviled, pilloried, and those who were executed. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There is no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write, we do language. This is how civilizations heal. And that was right on time for me. So I hope if there's a creative listening to this, I hope this activates you and lets you know it's okay. Get to work. This is when we do what we do. This is IMAKEMADBEATS signing off. Feel Good Friday. Lauren, thank you. See you on the flip side.
I totally forgot to tell you about his mask. You see, he's been wearing a mask since before it was cool. It's part of his whole persona. It's a part of him, really. And so there's always this debate when he comes to speak in those ways, whether or not to wear the mask. So he got creative and put that graphic up. IMAKEMADBEATS. Check him out on Facebook, Instagram. He's all over the place. James Dukes, thank you so much for that reflection. I think it was I felt like when I was listening to what you sent, it really kind of embodies our responsibility right now. Now is the time where we get to create things that we've never, ever thought to or never had time to. So thank you for that reflection. Keep on creating even when it's hard. I can't wait to see what you do during this time at home. And speaking of at home, it's Friday. You're probably like, oh, I don't have any plans. Maybe I should cook. So our next guest is my friend Ben. Ben has been creating this cooking series that he's been filming. And this particular series, or this particular video that he put together, I was literally drooling. My mouth was watering as I was watching it. So let's take a look at what Ben's culinary skills. This is something that he would have made at Barbecue Fest, which was coming up in May here for those who live in Memphis. And since he couldn't make it for the judges at Barbecue Fest this year, he thought he'd just make it for you.
Ce concept a été mis sur pied d'abord en Alberta, puis là, ils ont décidé de faire un gala interprovincial, et le gala Chante-Ouest est né, et finalement,
Thank you, Ben. Ben, you could tell that you are, your family is lucky to be getting whatever you're cooking up this quarantine. Hey, I just want to remind everybody, this is live right now. Of course, on my phone, it's a little bit delayed. So comment, tell us where you're watching from. I see there are several people watching. I know that we've had some in and out in this broadcast. But this week, I decided to ask others to contribute, and it's been really fun to see how other people are spending their time in quarantine. You can check out Ben. You saw his Instagram handle, Ben Colar. Check him out, and he's been posting these throughout his time here, but that was one that we could have all gotten to taste at Barbecue Fest. And this week I've also get the pleasure of introducing sort of a new segment from Leah Beth. If you haven't noticed in the past from some of the things that she's submitted for Feel Good Friday, she loves plants. And she's stuck at home, and she can't go out to nurseries or do any of those things that you typically do this time of year. So she's had time to finally come up with and execute on the plan that she's always loved, which is called Plant Mama. And today she's going to teach you how to use what you have at home to create your own fertilizer. Take it away, Leah Beth.
It's me, your friend LB, or as my friends call me, Plant Mama, with a few tips on how to get creative with fertilizing your plants at home. Fill up a pot with water and bring it to a rolling boil. Keep your eggshells after you scramble some breakfast. They're going to come in handy. Just be sure to wash them out. They're going to add small amounts of calcium, potassium, and even some magnesium to your water. Put your eggshells in the pot and set the timer for 5 minutes.
Alexa,
timer for 5 minutes. Have a beer. Maybe have 2 if you can really slam them. Turn off the heat, cover your pot, and let it sit for up to 24 hours. Then, strain your water. And use that water to fertilize your plant babies. We're still not done. Don't throw away those eggshells just yet. You can pulverize them in a food processor or blender. Next, simply add them to the soil. They'll reduce the acidity of your soil and help to aerate it, if you can keep your dog away. And for that empty egg carton, fill them up with soil. And add any seeds that need to get a start inside before moving outdoors. It's a weird time to be alive, and we're all missing our regular trips to the nursery. Just remember, you have endless possibilities to feed your plants right inside your own home. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so after Ben's, I was really hungry, and now after Leah Beth's, I'm actually kind of thirsty for a beer. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? I mean, it's almost 5, and it's quarantine, so it's always 5, right? Thank you, Leah Beth, for sharing your gifts with the world. I am not a gardener, so I probably won't try that, but I was really intrigued. I'll learn something new, and I know you have some fans who were tuning in specifically to learn how to do that with their household leftover products. So the eggs, I usually just toss them, but now I'll think about different ways to use them. So thank you for that. I really enjoyed it. It was super fun. Thanks for sharing your gifts. Also, fun fact, Leah Beth shot all of that from her home with a cell phone. So magic, how you can use what you have to create stuff. Speaking of creating, you heard at the beginning of the show this week, a reflection from James about how difficult it can be to create in times like these. All week I've been working on this piece. I did some writing earlier this week, and I thought it'd be nice to put it to a video, and then I just had a really hard time making it happen. In fact, I just finished it right before we started this broadcast, right before this episode went live. And I don't really have a title for this, but I'm going to end on this piece because it's something that I've been thinking a lot about in our time inside our homes, away from our friends and family, longing for that connection we have with people, longing to travel again, some of us to get back to work as normal as possible. And so I put together this reflection that talks about the common theme that we can all relate to no matter what extreme we are currently dealing with, and that is people. Have a great day.
Places. Remember those? Travel. Remember going? Work. Remember how that's always been busy? It's funny. The thing all those have in common? People. People who love us too. People whose lives have been upended, just like ours. We're all home, and for the first time in our lives, the best thing we can do is stay there. It feels helpless, hopeless, endless. And then, the innocence of a child who has no idea what's going on says, we're going to be okay. We'll celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and milestones, all the while remembering it's people who make up the world, and those people will be there on the other side, continuing to remind us what really matters.